Hey. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I lost track of time. I was watching the telly and watching something, and I waited till the end of it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's 9 o'clock. And there it was, 9 o'clock, been and gone. Hi, Nathan. So I had to stop to grab a coffee because it wouldn't be the same without me coffee, would it? So, and I haven't had time to draw the curtains even. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Diane. Am I okay? Yeah, it's been a lovely day today. We've been to the garden centre and bought some plants. I did put a picture on Facebook of one of the half barrel of flowers I bought. Got 2 hanging baskets and some other little plants to put into the garden. So yeah, we had a good time. And we got some fish, not to eat, little fishy. Got some of those as well. Yeah, hi June. Hi Esther. Yeah, we had good weather today. Yeah, you can see. Still, it's going dark now. I'll have to pull the curtains before long. But at the moment, it's nice. Yeah, there was such a lot of flowers. You could spend a fortune. Well, we did. Well, I did spend a fortune, yeah. But you could spend thousands and still your garden wouldn't look full, if you know what I mean. Looking a lot better. It's getting there, the garden now. If we could only stop Rosie from digging big holes in the lawn. She's an excavator. You have to keep your eye on her. You take your eye off her for 1 second and she's dug a hole. She's such a pain. How can you have a gorgeous garden, when you get a dog that digs? My Buster was a champion digger. He used to dig his way to Australia near enough, my doggy. And I think one of our Ian's other dogs did dig as well. I think it might have been Sky that was a digger, yeah. But hey ho. So I've got my coffee. Cheers, people. In my M&S mug from many, many, many years ago. I do have plates that match. Half of it's got broken now because I've had it for such a long time. I think it was called Autumn Leaves or something, that's what it was called. Yeah, chin chin. I could only afford to buy them like one at a time. One plate, one cup, one mug. So I think the range actually finished. Marks and Spencer's didn't do it anymore before I collected everything. Because, not a load of money and you just collect it a bit at a time, don't you? So over the years, little bits have been broken. So I think I've got some little, what we call side plates over here, like little bread and butter plates or cake plates, whatever you call them. I've still got some of those left. The bowls got broken, I think. Oh, they all got broken. The cereal fruit bowls, they've got broken. I think I've still got the internet light is flashing at me. Stop it. Just stop it. Been talking to Sue today. She's had no internet for days. It's been the same with, I don't know whether you watch Tracy Crochet Rocks. She's had no internet either. Yeah, so she's had no telephone, no TV, no nothing, Sue. Anyway, I think she's back on now, yeah. Am I going to go spare if I have no internet? Or would I go crackers? Well, I've got the dentist on Monday. That'll be more money gone. Just when you think you've got money coming in, a little bit in your bank balance starts to titch a little bit, grow. Dentist. I'm determined that I am going to go away this year. I don't care if it's only 2 or 3 days, and it will be in this country. It won't be abroad because I haven't even got a passport. But I am determined I'm going to get away just for a little break. Yeah. I know I went away, was it the end of last year? When we went to that 2 days to a spa, yeah. But it was a holiday of sorts, but we only went to Skipton up the road. It was a very, very nice break, mind you. You know, I went with my niece, if you remember rightly. But I think I'm probably going to look at going on a coach holiday because, like, you know, my mobility is rubbish. So I'm thinking of going, you know, where they take you different places and you get taken to your hotel like on the coach kind of thing. Yeah. So we shall see what we shall see. Yeah. Yeah. I have got a crochet hook and a ball of wool, but I haven't actually started anything. Um, what I was doing, I think I finished. Oh no, I was just doing little squares, weren't I? I sort of went off that a bit. I thought I'll start something different. But I don't know whether I'll be able to do it on here because it's a Doris Cham. And if you've ever done a Doris Cham pattern, it's literally translated from the Japanese or whatever. She has her own way of doing things, believe you me. Her work is gorgeous, and I wish she was still designing, but I believe she's in her 70s or 80s now, so I think she's given it all up now. I've not seen any of her designs for a long, long time. So I'm very privileged to have 3 of her books, I think it is. I've got the Amazing Crochet Lace one. I've got the Everyday Crochet, and I don't know what I have the other one. Yeah, can't remember what the name of the other one is. I've got 3 of her books anyway. So this is the one that I've used. I've done nearly every one out of this book. But you have to concentrate. I will admit you have to concentrate. Doris does tend to chip about a bit, you know, from one page to another. That's why I've got a little marker in, because that's the page that tells you a lot of the stuff that you need to know. You know, how she does her increases and how she does different things. Well, I think you can still get this book, although they're a bit like gold dust now. So, yeah, I've got the page mark that's got all the way she increases and everything on. I'm actually thinking of doing the jewel pattern, which is that one there. That's what I'm thinking of making. If you can see, it's got a pattern on it. But I don't know whether I can concentrate on it while I'm talking to you all. So we can see, we can see. So would help if I could see, wouldn't it? Yeah. I went to the post office the other day, and I was posting something to the US. That was a price in itself. And she said, "Oh, you need to fill out a customs form." And I'm like, "I don't really know what's this." And the customs form is about that big. I couldn't see what I'm supposed to be filling in. I just had hazard a guess, you know. So if I go to the post office again, posting anything to the US, which I've got to do probably this coming week, I'll have to remember to take my glasses. I can't find the end. Oh, I hate it when it all comes out in a rush. When you get yarn bath, aha, I was pulling the wrong end. It's all at this other end. Oh, why do you get this? I like to work from the middle of the ball, and it doesn't always work, does it? Because sometimes it just goes into a... Oh, by the way, I've got my cough back. It all goes into a great big bath. So that is not the centre of the ball of wool. That was misleading me. That's an outside edge. Oh dear, I hope I'm not going to cough all over you people. Hey, dearie me. Right, let's tuck that back in the middle because it doesn't belong. I've got a great big lump coming out the middle, but at the moment I've still got 2 ends. Aha! 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 There it is. There it is. Well, I've got 22 people in my room. 8 thumbs up, thank you very much. But I've only had about 6 people say hello to me. So I don't know where the rest are. They must be lurking. If you are lurking, come out of the shadows and say hello. Because we don't bite and we are a friendly little bunch. Well, most of the time we are, aren't we? We are a friendly bunch. Right, I've got to try and remember now how to do this funny cast on she does. She does a funny cast on. Yeah. A sucker. Yeah. Right. Bear with me one moment. Oh, hello, Chrissy B. Thank you for saying hello. I was beginning to think I was talking to myself. Oh, dearie me. Right, let's have a look what this is. It's that FDC cast on chain on or whatever you want to call it. Oh my goodness me. Right, you do 2 chain. Then you go into that one. Pull a chain through. Go through them both. Right, okay, done that. Then you go into there, pull a chain over, and then pull it through 2. I think I've got it. Hi Susan, hi Gail. I think I've got my cast on. Although knowing me, probably not, no. No, it's not looking quite right, that. Have you all mastered this sort of what's it called? Base FC cha or whatever. Hi Connie, yes, everything is fine with me. I think I'll do my own way. The way I'm used to doing it. It isn't the right way, but it's my way. And I'm not Frank Sinatra. I did not do it my way. I did it my way. This could take a while, people. I've got to do 51 of them, I think, or 41. So this, I may be some time. But it's a better way to do your chain on if you're doing a cast, a top down. It means that, your chain isn't that tight. It throttles you. It sort of gives a bit when you do it this way. It's a bit like doing your chain and 1 row of single crochet. But I always forget how you do it. And then I always have to stop and think. And I don't think I do it the right way anyway. Yeah. Should have seen Cleveless today. It was absolutely rammed with holiday makers. It was packed. There wasn't a place to be had. We wanted to get an ice cream and sit and watch the sea. But there wasn't a place to be had. It was absolutely, bad. Oh, I haven't learnt it properly, Gail. I do it my own way. I think I do it wrong, but never mind. You've never made a garment? Oh, Diane, come on, push the boat out, dear. It's not as hard as you think. Start with something really basic. She says going wrong. Start with something dead basic. Don't start with something complex. And, you'll master it in no time. I was the opposite, you see. I started with garments, sort of chuck yourself in the deep end. Because shawls weren't a thing when you think about it when I was 13. Like old ladies wore shawls, yeah. It's not like they're a fashion statement like they are now. So if somebody had said start with a shawl, I would have never progressed, I don't think. And as for a blanket, well, I know you ladies love to make them, or gentlemen, whatever, like to make them, but they destroy my soul doing a blanket. It does, honestly. It makes me want to give up crocheting. I really cannot stand. This is not right. It's looking very flopsy. Going to start again. Obviously, I am doing it wrong. Ha ha. No, I'm just not a blanket person. Some people love making them. I would make a cot blanket or a pram blanket, something like that. But there is no way I would ever commit to making a bed, one for a bed. Oh my God, I think, my God, have you got no life? Yeah. Honestly, it's so awful, isn't it? You know, like about 3 million stitches and going across the row for about an hour. Oh, I'd lose the will to live. I'm sorry, but I would. Eh, I'm still not doing this right, but it's looking a bit better than it did the first time I tried it. All the counting of what? Counting of no, not if you're doing a straight. If you pick something that's just like rectangles to start off with, you know, two rectangle for the back, two rectangles for the front, rectangles for the sleeves. There's no counting involved. You just do, you know. I mean, that's the way I learned. I learned everything was just straight pieces, you know. Very, very basic. I progressed to shaping a bit longer. Hi, Dee. Yeah, shaping came later when I actually learned how to do things more. But when I first started, everything was like a rectangle because I couldn't do shaping. I couldn't do the increasings or the decreasings. But that's, as you grow in confidence doing things, that's something that comes to you. You know, it's like push, what they say, you should push your mind, shouldn't you? You should do. Well, you see, I think hats are a lot more difficult if you're going round and round and round and round. Hats are a lot more difficult because you know you've got to keep your stitch count right, haven't you? You've got to increase in the right places if you do the top down. Unless you're doing those pussycat hats where just a rectangle, you fold it up and sew it down the side and it looks like ears sticking out, you know. I've only ever made one of them for a kiddie. I don't think they quite suit me. I must hold my head up. I don't suit hats. I really do not suit hats. Oh, she's gone wrong again. I go wrong again, Lippy. Eee. It was nice to go out actually today, even though it usually jags me back up, but we won't go into that. That's the trouble. You have a lovely day out, you're enjoying yourself and pushing your little trolley round the garden centre. And then the following day, you try to get up and it's like, oh my back. You did novelty one. Oh, that's better than me. I had a friend, well, I still got a friend. She's up in Scotland and she's called Hayley. And she used to have a channel, she doesn't do it anymore, called Hayley's Hats. She made the most fantastic character hats. You know, her kiddies were at school, you see, so when they used to go to school wearing these hats, of course, she got lots of orders. She made them all kinds of things, you know, foxes, dogs, cats, tigers. Oh, she did all kinds of hats, yeah. I tell you who does those kind of hats. Rose in the Philippines, if you ever watch her. Cedie Aki, Cedie. Aki, I think it's AQUI. She does all these novelty hats and she does a lot of toys. I don't mean amigurumis. Well, I suppose they are amigurumis, but they're bigger ones. You don't make little things. And she can, you know, somebody shows her a comic character. She just makes them. She doesn't have a pattern or anything. Now, that is something that I cannot do. My amigurumis look like something to scare a child. My tension isn't tight enough, no matter how many times I decrease my hook size. I can't grip the same as I used to, so I can't pull my stitches tight enough. And amigurumis have got to be firm so that when you put the wadding, the stuffing in, it doesn't poke through the ends, you know. And also they've got to be firm, otherwise they wouldn't stand up on their own, would they? They'd fall over. Mine look all floppy, and there's an art to them. There's an art of sort of stuffing them and doing them and everything, yeah. You did it from there. Oh God, you see, you're all better than me. I can do that with a garment. I can look at a garment online, and provided it's not too complex. But Sue is the best one. Sue will just look at anything. She goes on Pinterest, which is a complete and utter mystery to me. And she makes things from there, yeah. Oh, thank you, Dee. Yeah, lap blankets are not so bad. I just couldn't make them big blankets, Dee. I don't know. You know, the huge ones that fit over a king-size bed or something like that. You know, I can't do one project that would take me 12 months to do it. I can't do it. I haven't got the willpower, is it? Or what is it? Concentration power? Whatever you want to call it. I don't have it. I'm an instant gratification type of person. I like to see things finished. I like to see things done, things that come off my hook. But having said that, I don't like making little, like you say, little things like toys. I've got lots and lots of friends who make the most fantastic toys and amigurumis and God knows what else is. I think if you've got a thing you enjoy doing or a thing that you're good at, you find your niche, don't you? You know, I mean, there's quite a few ladies on the internet who are really, really good at this toy making and stuff. But in England, we've got kind of funny rules, you know. A, you can't do anything that remotely resembles anything that is anybody like Disney or anything, because then you're breaking copyright. B, you've got to use safety yarn, safety eyes, safety stuffing. It's got to pass the British standards before you even try and sell it. So it kind of puts you off. You don't want to get in any kind of trouble, you know. Don't want the copyright police breathing down my neck hole, yeah. Well, it's looking a little bit better. It's not looking what it's supposed to look like, but it'll do for me. It'll do for me. So now I have to find where I'm supposed to be doing. I think I'm supposed to do 41 of them. Yes, 41. Got a while to go yet. Yeah, the same worries. Yeah, I don't know what it is about my tension. But when I get, well, I know what it is. It's arthritis in my fingers. But I can't get my tension tight enough. And people say, oh, go on a smaller hook. I've tried that. Tried going on a smaller hook and it just doesn't work. I seem to still let my hook go slack, yeah. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It's boutique unforgettable. You can see it. It's a slight randomy colours of pinks and purples. I don't know what it's called. What's it called? Petunia. Petunia. That's an old-fashioned name, isn't it? Petunia. You can imagine somebody's great grandma called Petunia, can't you? You know, it's like Delphinia and everything, isn't it? Delphinium. You ever noticed your great aunts and your great grandmas and that always were called after flowers, weren't they? Rose and daisy, things like that. They were always flower names. And then when it skipped a generation, it started being like film star names, like there's millions of Shirleys that are around about 80. Oh my goodness me. And then you get to a different generation when you get the Shanes and the Waynes and the and the Clints. That was like the Western era, wasn't it? Your mum's middle name was Rose. I've got a friend whose surname was Rose, yeah. She was called June Rose, and the daft thing was she was born in May. She wasn't born in June at all. My mum was Lucy, which I thought was terribly old-fashioned when I was young. When people used to say in school, tell everybody what your mother's name is, you know, you'd go around the classroom and they'd be called like Rose and Daisy and that. And when it came to me, when I said Lucy, the whole class used to fall apart laughing. But like now, it's very up and coming now. It's one of the avant-garde names now. The old names are all coming back again, aren't they? But I'm called after my two grandmas, Janet on one side and the Elizabeth on the other. So I'm grateful, really. Nobody was called Gladys, really. So it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. But my aunts were like Mary Alice, Janie, Maria. Um, and the guys were John, Francis, Jared, Edward, but he passed away. Yeah, they all had older names. Right, go into where you're supposed to be going into, Janet, and stop nattering. Right. So I'm grateful none of our family had weird names. Oh, Maxine. No, I only know it from the cartoon. You know the cartoon, Maxine? You probably know it if your mum's called Maxine. My mum's sisters were Ethel, Lena, Lucy was my mum, Edna, um, oh gosh, I can't think of the rest. My God. Marion, Lena, I said Lena, haven't I? Oh. You're not familiar with the cartoon? She's a little feisty old lady. She's a bit like Iris Apfel. And she always says some really sarcastic things in the cartoon. She's called Maxine. I'm sure she's called Maxine. Somebody will probably tell me that's not her name. But she's one of those like old ladies that are very, very vinegar, very sarcastic. Yeah. Oh, Winifred, yeah. We had a Wilfred in our family, not a Winifred, but a Wilfred, yeah. I had a Wilfred on both sides, yeah. My dad had a brother Wilfred, and my mum had a brother Wilfred as well. Wilf. Oh, you know who it is now, yeah. Yeah, she's very, very acidic. She always makes some catty little comment about some other woman, usually. That Maxine, yeah. You don't see much of her now. It must be a thing a while ago, yeah. Man, on Facebook, I keep seeing, somebody keeps putting Andy Capp back on. If you're British, you'll know who Andy Capp is. If you're American, you probably have no idea. But I laugh at them, even though I've probably seen them all before, yeah. Yeah, Maxine was a bit like the Golden Girls, really. Dorothy out the Golden Girls. I used to love that show, the Golden Girls. My niece was even more into it than me. I love the old. I'm not keen on all these newer, modern, funny shows. I don't know whether it don't tickle my sense of humour, but they don't. I'm looking at them thinking, that's not funny. Right, I've got to have a chain of 15 inches, is it? Oh, Janet, put your glasses on. Supposed to have a chain of 15 inches. We've got to have 41 of these little things. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Is that one, or have you just gone wrong there? 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37. Oh, nearly there, nearly there. 37, 37, 38. Oh, 39. Ooh, 40. I'll be with you in a minute, people. 40. 41. Now, do I join it into a circle or do I not? Don't know. I shall have to read. Haven't made one of these for years. I made every single one in the book, and then I just sort of kind of stopped here. Right, I think I need to put my specs on. I'm supposed to be going to have my eyes tested, but I haven't booked an appointment. Right. Although technically not rounds, I will call the next 3 rounds 1 to 3. Oh, this is what I hate. These are sizes 3. I'm not doing that size. Now I have to turn a page. Right. Oh, that size I'm doing next. For the first row only, make an increase in the centre back. Right. Tell me about it. Ugh. And of course it's in American, so the double crochets are now trebles to me. And it's going very dark, isn't it? I can't see me going to be doing this, you know, because can't concentrate, yeah. So I think I'm going to be leaving it because I can't concentrate on doing it. It was a bit of a silly thing to start, really, when I'm live on air. Maybe I should grab my squares again, but I'm not enamoured with them. I'm not really enamoured with them. Oh, and I've got a load of wool all down on the floor here. And I think I need to now put the light on. You have to excuse me, people, while I go and put the light on. Because it's going rapidly darker and darker. Oh. Let's put the light on. Well, thankfully, I don't have to light the fire now. I'm not that cold. Wait. Close the door like a light. I'm staying home tonight. Far away from the city. Far away from the bright city lights. I don't know what the rest of it is because I've forgotten. Hi, Chris. Just had to put the light on. It's gone dark. I was crocheting, but I can't concentrate, so. And I've just realised that the rest of my crocheting, what's in the squares, is not in this room. So I'm not going to go and look for it. I could do some more squares if I found another hook, but I could do that, I suppose. I could do that. Because I've got plenty of hooks. It's not like I'm struggling with one hook, is it? Come on, Jan. Shake your bones, girl. Shake your bones. Oh, and bring your sweeties with you. Bring your sweeties. You can tell I'm not prepared. I've been out today, and when I go out today, it just throws me all of a flum. I've been to the garden centre, Chris, today. Been buying some flowers. Pretty flowers. Right, unzip my case. Hiya, John. How you doing? I'm looking for my crochet hook. That's what I'm doing. Looking for a crochet hook. I need a 4.5. And I've got one. They're all colour coded, my hooks, but I keep forgetting what colour's supposed to be it. Well, I've got a beautiful, I put a picture on Facebook, you might see it. Chris, it's like a half barrel full of flowers. Gorgeous it is. I'm looking for a bright green. There it is. Looking for a bright green. And how are you, John, today? Are you all right? He usually puts cryptic comments on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm back again. He goes, I'm like, where have you been? Sometimes I don't follow you, John, at all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's what I put on my squares, 26. Everybody's very quiet tonight. You're all very, very quiet. I don't like it when you're quiet. It makes me nervous. There's 38 people in here and none of you are talking to me. It's very difficult to carry on a conversation when nobody's talking to me, you know. I know I can talk for England, but, you know, sometimes I do like a bit of feedback, you know. I do like somebody to let me know they're actually listening to me and it's not just me waffling on my own, yeah. Hey. I could sing a bit more, then you'd all leave, yeah. Oh, dear. What am I making? I was going to make a sweater, but I couldn't concentrate, so I'm just doing square. A square. No, I didn't get a bite to eat when I was out. All we got was an ice cream. What kind of squares am I making? I'm making each one a different pattern or trying to memorise a different pattern. But my repertoire of memorised stitches is quite small, actually. And I'm too lazy to get my stitch book out to find a new one to do. So they'll be a bit limited, the patterns I'm using. I'm only using up some old cotton that's absolutely rubbish. It's recycled, and my goodness, it feels like it's recycled. It's really only fit for a dishcloth, but still. Perseverance is your watchword, Janet. Yeah, when I finished the garden and put the flowers in, I thought, I'll take a video of the garden. Boop. The camera died. It hadn't charged up. What's the plan for my squares? A cardigan a bit like Harry Styles, because you know me, I do not do blankets. But the colours I've got are pretty revolting, so I could probably finish up as a bed jacket. But I always need a bed jacket when it's cold weather. I am very, very cold until I fall asleep. Freezing cold when I get in bed. It can be a warm, warm day, and the minute I get in bed, I just freeze. I was Googling the other day why I get waves and waves of shivers going up and down my body. They said it's fighting off infection, in which case I've been fighting off infection for the last 3 years. I am always cold. I'm warm when I'm in the sun, but the minute I come out of the sun, back into the house again, I go freezing. I need a sun lamp. Sit under a sun lamp. It was lovely when I sat out. Well, we were in the garden centre half of the time. And my son went looking at little fish, because he has tropical fish, them little squitchy things about 1/2 inch long. Not my cup of tea at all. So he went in this big aquarium place, and they're like 700,000 little fish about that big. I didn't mind the koi carp, big things like that. That's fish to me. Fish. Little things like that are not fish to me. But we did see some weird. They were like little frogs, and they were about 1/2 inch, but they live underwater. They don't come out. But they were £30 each. I'm like, no. I'd rather have cod that you can eat. Oh, hello, word be true. How are you doing? You're busy, but you're coming to see us, right? That's okie dokie. Oh, God, yeah. I wasn't in. I mean, my family were. They think these little fish are wonderful, but I think they look, they don't float my boat. My son says, "Oh, I like sitting watching them." It reminds me of dentist waiting rooms. I don't know whether they still do it, but in the old days, they always used to have a tank full of fish. Whether it was supposed to calm you down while you were waiting for your filling, I don't know. But they didn't do a lot for me. So I associate like tanks of these little guppy things with dentist waiting rooms. Now you want some fish. You're always thinking of your tummy, aren't you, Chris? Always thinking of your tummy. I'm eating wine gums, which I shouldn't be eating because, as you know, I'm diabetic. And they're full of sugar and all sorts of stuff, aren't they? I've eaten them now. I have been eating them for about the last 5 days, so I haven't actually pigged them down yet. Oh, I've got a wave of shivers just gone all over. Look at my arm. Can you see the goose pimples? Come up on my arm. And it's not cold. You're going to cook them tonight with spaghetti. Yeah. Slime of the devil. Oh, meaning you were going to get political. Oh, no, I don't do political. You know me, John. I don't do politics. Don't do religion. Don't do politics. Don't do race, creed, or colour. I still haven't heard, but we're talking to Jill last week, and she said he'd gone on one of her lives, and he'd just said that he was still a bit weak, and he was building his strength up. But that's the only thing I heard. It was last week. I've not heard anything about him since. So I don't know. I don't know any more than that. I said, well, I said to Jill, if you see him again on any lives, tell him we've all been asking about him. So let's hope he's getting his strength up wherever he is. Well, he must have been pretty poorly to be 3 weeks in hospital. I mean, they don't keep you in hospital for nothing, do they? Yeah, I saw a message saying you were going to go public again. That's all I saw. I didn't see any more messages, John. But you know me, I won't comment if he put anything. Not seen Rick for about 3 weeks. I don't know where he is. He's just not been on. Kaz was on briefly last week. She came on, but she'd been working and she was having to work on the Sunday, so she was tired, so she didn't stay on long, but she did pop on. But I don't know where Rick's gone. Rick's been missing in action for about the last 3 weeks. Perhaps he's found other people to. No, the ambulance driver. No, what's he called? Rob. He still does his own videos. UK Medic, he's called. But he's not been on here, no. But as I say, people come and people go, though. You never know what happens to them unless you know them personally. They just vanish off you. Harass. Like who's harassing who? So I don't know. Like I say, people disappear. People come, people go. Then people come back or people don't come back. You never know where they go, do you? Unless you know them personally or you know people who know them personally. You never actually find out what happens to people. I suppose people just stop watching or go off the whole idea, or maybe they change their social life and they start going out, you know. You don't know what happens to people, do you? Well, I don't think anybody's harassing him, or who, or her, or whatever it is you're thinking about harass. We're pretty good. Oh, that's what you meant, yeah. No, you know me, John. I am not. Oh, you did that last year. You disappeared. Yeah, I mean, everybody does it from time to time. For whatever reasons, you know, that are happening in their personal life, people do. They just find other things to do. Their social life changes. And oh, about Rick. Yeah, I don't know where Rick went. I mean, he could be a bit of a pain in the neck sometimes, couldn't he? But I don't know. Don't think anybody upset him. The only thing I said was if he mentioned Mrs. Peach one more time, I was going to wrap something around his neck and choke him. But apart from that, I don't know. Perhaps he took me seriously. So perhaps he's run off with Mrs. Peach. Perhaps he's eloped. Or he's gone off with one of them, those K-pop Japanese singers he was always so crazy about. Who knows where he's gone? We don't know where he's gone. He may come back. He may come on tonight. We don't know, do we? We don't know. Hey, we never know who's going to pop in next, do we? Who's going to come and say hello? Hello, hello. Well, that was Lionel Richie wanted hello. Is it me you're looking for? Well, hello, Shad. We've just been asking about you. Everybody's been asking about you. Every week, everybody says, where's Shad? Do you know where Shad is? And I did get a little bit of update from Jill last week when she said she had seen you on the live, yeah. But, you know, you were building up your strength. So I'm glad to see you. We've all been worried about you. Your little fan club has all been, where's Shad? Where's Shad? We were hoping you haven't fallen in while you were fishing. So are you feeling better now? I hope you are. Are you up to fishing again, or are you still getting your strength up, Shad? Because I'm sure Word Be True will be wanting to fish. Yeah. Well, we have. It's not as if he's not been missed, is it? You know. It's nice to know somebody misses you. When you don't go on a channel and nobody even knows you're not there, it's a bit disheartening, isn't it? Yes, I think he's amongst us. Well, he's certainly typing amongst us. So, yeah, you have to get yourself ready for fishing again. Those crappie will be missing you. Whatever a crappie is. We've been out buying fish today for my son's fish tank, but they're only little things like that. You know, what they call them, not tropical fish. What do they call them? Well, they have to be in a heated tank. It is tropical fish, isn't it? Yeah. To me, they're not fish. They're about half an inch long. They had some big koi carp in a great big tank in there. They were good. That's what I call a fish, you know, what about that big? They might have been guppies, I don't know what they were little things. I was just saying before, they had some teeny weeny little frogs, they were that big, about half an inch. But they don't come out of the water, they live underwater. The underwater frogs. You've been camping. I hope you've stayed nice and warm when you've been camping. Don't you be getting another chill on your chest. You know, you're not 25 anymore, Shad. You know, you can't go out in the cold, damp air like you used to. Even I can't do, well, I can't do that. I know I'm older than you, Shad, but I can't do that. Gets on my chest, the cold weather. There you are. Look at done a bit. Have I got a drink left? Oh, yes, I do. My daughter-in-law's been gardening. We went to the garden centre today and bought some flowers. Oh, you're leaving us now, are you? Won't be true, yeah? Oh, Chris is doing the moderator. Yeah, he's the moderator, okay. He is indeed. He gets rid of the trolls for me. Well, he does when he's not busy cooking and he takes his eye off the ball. He has a habit of wandering off, Chris. Toodaloo, toodaloo, ta-ta for now. TTFL. Yeah, Chris has a habit of wandering off cooking his meals and forgetting to come back, don't he? Well, I've got to keep moving as well, Shad. You know, somebody might dust me if I stand still long enough. I'll probably pay. I went walking around the garden centre today, that, you know, where you get plants from and everything. So no doubt tomorrow I will pay the cost. You know, I'll probably be like, oh, tomorrow morning. That's the price of old age, innit, you know. You enjoy yourself one day and you go wandering around and walking around, and the day after you're like, you need oiling, don't you? WD-40 I need when I've been walking too much. So we're getting company tomorrow. Some friends of my son's are arriving, yeah. I was going to take more photos, you know. Oh, you need oiling, do you? Yeah, I definitely need WD-40, especially my knees. My knees are feeling the pinch these days. Yeah, I needed to take some photos because I've been putting some things on eBay. But I just wasn't in the mood for it today. And tomorrow I won't be able to do it because we're getting company. So I can't be doing my David Bailey click, click, click with things, you know, on a mannequin, can I, when we've got company? So I just hope it doesn't. Well, I'm saying I hope it doesn't rain. In a way, I get more done when it rains because it means I'm indoors and I go in the conservatory with my camera. But today I was going to do a video of the garden and I walked in with the camera. I swear I put the camera on charge. But I walked out with the camera today and it just cut out, and I looked at it and it was dead as a doornail. So I don't know what happened, why it didn't charge up, yeah. Old is how you think you are. You know, if you don't feel old, you won't be old. The worst thing you can do is think old. I know some people on YouTube who are probably in their 50s. And the way they moan and groan and they go, well, I'm getting old, you know, I could do with some help and all that. I'm like, old? You're not old at 50. For goodness sake, you're prime of your life. You know, when I think what I was doing when I was in my 50s until my back said, ha ha ha. But, oh, my necklace. Well, it's a weirdy one today. Look, weird. But I'm wearing sort of purples and turquoises, so I wanted it to go together. But it's like shiny things with fastened together with bits of string. I don't know why, but it just appealed to me. It just did. Yeah, there's people on, like I say, on YouTube who are saying that their daughters or something should be looking after them and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you're in your 50s, for God's sake, you know. Stop making yourself old before your time. You know, it's... Oh, thank you, Diane. In my head, I can do anything. I plot things I'm going to do, and I've got the willpower and everything to do it. And I'll start off to do it, and then my body goes, nah, no, not today, thank you. And I do get irritated. I'm not one of these people who enjoys having a bit of bad health. I don't enjoy it at all. I rail against it. I fight against it. You know, I'm like, I will not let this thing beat me. You know, I mean, eventually it does, doesn't it? Because if you've got pains, you have to stop what you're doing. But I just get so frustrated and so annoyed with myself because I can't do it. You know, but I know lots of people who enjoy it. You know, it's like they wear it like a badge of honor. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And oh, I used to be. I can't do it. I'll still try. Then I can't do it. My mum used to have a saying. If I said, "Mum, I can't do it," she used to say, "Can't means won't try." She says, "Go and do it, and then if you really can't do it, then you can't do it." Yeah. But she said, "Don't ever just say, oh, I can't do that." She said, "I don't want to hear it." She wouldn't never let me say that. Don't want to hear it. She said, "I want to see you've gone and tried it." It's true, really, you know, because it's so easy to duck out of something and to say, oh, I can't do that. Can't do that. I mean, yeah, I couldn't hang glide or, jump out of an aeroplane. That really, I can't do that. That's the one thing my specialist said to me when I'd had my spinal operation, with the rod and the pins, and he went, the one thing you can't do, he said, is jump out of a helicopter, and I don't want you bungee jumping. And I went, I didn't really have that in mind in the first place, That wasn't kind of on my wish list. It's not on my bucket list to go and jump out of a helicopter or anything. Nope. Or wing walk, You get these little old ladies, don't you, little guys who wing walk on, one of those old World War II planes, don't they? They get out and walk. Oh, God, no. I mean, for a kick-off, I am absolutely terrified of heights. I don't even want to look out of a plane window. I want to sit on the aisle, where the woman goes up and down with the trolley with the drinks on. Do not want to sit by the window. I do not want to look out over the Alps, no. You want to be an old fart, yeah. Hold up the queue while you dither about in your purse, yeah. Oh, dear. My worst thing is getting out of the car. I used to call my mother something awful for getting out of the car like a snail, We'd be in the middle of traffic and she's now, where's me handbag? Have I got me bag? Where am I? Oh, God, where's me stick, John? And then she'd be getting one leg out of the car. And I'd get out, mother, get out. Stop messing about with traffic piling up behind us. Get out of the car. Now, guess who is her mum? Me. Guess who's the one who has to get out one leg at a time. Have I got my handbag? Yeah. They always say you turn into your mother, don't they? I've turned into my mother. Well, a lot of the time. Certain of her traits I don't have. My mother was always right. She would never admit to being wrong with anything. I will, that's one thing I will. I'll hold my hand up and say, nah, sorry, it was me. Yeah, I know, it was me. That's one trait I have from my dad and not from my mum. My mum was never, ever wrong. And I used to say to my dad, challenge her. We've all seen her do it, so we know she was in the wrong. He used to say, not worth it. I've got to live with her. My dad said when he got married, an old bloke said to him, I'll just give you one bit of advice. 2 words you need to say to your wife, no matter what she says to you. Yes, dear. And so I think my dad lived by that rule. Yes, dear. He'd go and do what he wanted. But when she'd say, don't you think it'd be a good idea if we did this, that, and the other, John? Don't you think it would be a good idea? And he'd go, yes, dear, yes, yes. Good idea, yeah. Then he'd go off and do something completely different. I'm like me dad. I'd be the one who went off and do something completely different. Yeah. I'm a rebel. But these days, a rebel without a clue, you know what I mean? Not a rebel without a cause, I'm a rebel without a clue. You know, when you go in a room and you think, why am I in here? What have I come for? I'm not really supposed to be in here. The only room I know why I'll go into it is my bathroom, yeah. I know why I'm going in there. But that's really the only room I know. You do know you've either gone for a shower or, you know, you need the little, yeah, facilities. So you know why you've gone in there. You've not gone in there to comb your hair, have you? You know. But the number of times I walk in my bedroom and it's not bedtime, you know, you walk in the bedroom and you think, why have I come? What have I done? What was I coming here for? And then I come outside and think, oh, it's a bit cold. I've gone in there for my cardigan. And so you have to go back in again and find your cardigan. Oh, tell you. You know, I think I would be dangerous if I had a brain. I would be. My coffee's gone cold. I did used to have one of those little things that you plugged into your computer that used to keep your coffee warm. But it wasn't big enough for a mug. It was too narrow. It wouldn't set me mug on it properly. Sure, there must be more on. But I haven't got actually a spare thingy-majiggle hole, you know, to plug it into. I've actually plugged the camera in my bedroom because I don't think it was charging up on plugging it through my computer. It was slowing it down. It wasn't. That's why I thought it was charged up and it wasn't. I reached my other camera out, my other newer camera. But when I opened it up, it gave me a choice of things to do, and I don't know what to do with it. I'll have to ask Gary and have a look at it, yeah. No, my mug warmer, it didn't work because it wasn't big enough for the base of my mug. I don't know what it was made for. Very small cup or something. But it was too small for the base. So when you put it on, you weren't getting a good contact because it was like balanced, if you know what I mean. Instead of sitting onto the plate, it was kind of balanced because it was this bit was too small for the mug. So that's why it didn't really work. So I just gave it up as a bad job. It would be handy though when you like sitting nattering and you haven't drunk your coffee all the time because it's stone cold this now. I'm not a lover of iced coffee. I don't live in a hot country, so that's probably why. And I don't like tea, so I don't like iced tea. It's not my thing, if you know what I mean. We went in one garden centre, though. Went to do two today. Went to one garden centre, and I said to my son, there's something missing. And he kept saying, what do you mean there's something missing? It's something they're not selling. I went, no, there's no scent. You know, in the good old days when you used to go into a garden centre, your nostrils used to be assaulted, you know, with the scent of the flowers and everything. And I honestly didn't smell anything. And even when we went into the second one, it wasn't. I mean, do flowers not smell the same anymore? You know, even the lavender. I got some lavender and you have to like really get up to it and touch it. Whereas I used to have lavender in the old days and I could, if I opened the kitchen door, it used to be outside the kitchen door. really get the waft of the lavender used to come through the door. And now, you have to sort of go and jiggle it before, like go like that to it to make it smell. Yeah. I'm after a lemon geranium. I went into, never, not seen them. My mum always had a lemon geranium on the kitchen because they get rid of the kitchen smells and they also distract flies. So she always had one. I couldn't find one, and my son went to the bloke in the garden centre and he asked him, and he said, "No, I've never heard of them, never heard of a lemon one." Anyway, I came back and Googled it, and in actual fact, even though I've always known them as a lemon geranium, they're not called that. They're called a different name. So now I know what I'm going to look for. I don't want a lemon geranium, I want one of these. You're going to bust a single hand mixer apart to get to the motor for the wire. Oh dear, yeah. What, lemon geraniums? Yeah, my mother always had a lemon geranium, always, on a kitchen window bottom. And I don't know why, we were talking about memories the other week, and it just came into my head, I want a lemon geranium. Can we find one? No. They did have some online, but they were all out of stock. They got another name. Oh, they're not called geranium. It said on the Google thing that people often mistake them and call them geraniums when they're not, yeah. I think he's trying to mend his hand mixer. So don't you be zipping yourself and electrocuting yourself, Shad. We don't want you back in again. We don't want you needing a pacemaker, because you give yourself 40 volts or something through yourself. When you get a song run through your head, I've got one now. Ain't nobody gonna cramp my style. Ain't nobody gonna put me down. Oh, oh, I've got to keep on moving. It's been in my head all day. Wish it'd go. My friend calls them earworms. You got an earworm? Sorry, didn't I was talking to Sue today. She's had no internet for about 3 days. No internet and no phone. So she's been a bit miffed. It's a nice colour. It looks yellow, doesn't it? But it's actually a lime green. Really bright lime green. Oh dear me, I got hiccups now. Have I finished my coffee? I have, so I can put that over there. And I've gone shuddery again. Oh, making a steak that is cracked. Oh, for a gardening nibble. Oh. You're like my dad. My dad would never throw anything away. I would say, it's not working, Dad, give it here. It'd be a bit Heath Robinson when he'd done it. It wouldn't look like it did. It might have extra bits stuck to it, It was a bit like the mad inventor, my dad. But no matter what you gave him, he'd repair it. Yeah. So, my mother used to say, "No, let's just go and buy another one, John." No, no, no. I think he'd been brought up like very much do amends. So even when he had a little bit of pocket money, a little bit of money in his pocket to jingle, he still would make do amend. Yeah. As I say, everything in our house looked a bit like the mad inventor had done it. Oh, coat hangers. No, they're car aerials, coat hangers. Metal coat hangers, car aerial. When your car aerial breaks, you never buy a new one. You're very hilly-billy. You just use a coat hanger. Oh, and in the good old days, before all these electronic things for the car. You used to be able to open your car, didn't you, with a coat hanger if you lock yourself out. But now everything's digitalised and whatever. Beep. Number of people who lock themselves out now. That's so you can't get in the damn thing if you lock yourself out now. I'm having my dandelion and boo. One of these days I'll have an alcoholic drink and then I go, because I don't take my drink very well. You'd probably think it was hilarious, you know. Let's see Janet get a bit. Maybe Christmas. Maybe Christmas. I might indulge in the Baileys. Got me crisps. Oh, wire coat hangers are great. When you used to go to the dry cleaners, they always used to give you those very, very flimsy wire coat hangers that were made out of like fuse wire. They weren't very good quality, were they? Mine, they probably used to buy them by the million, didn't they? Because they used to always give you the coat hanger when you went to pick your dry cleaning up. Oh, I know, it's terrible. I mean, at one time you could get in your car, no bother. Oh, it'd be all right if it's in the fridge, Chris. It's got alcohol in it, dear. It preserves it. Oh, God, yeah. You put coat hangers in there and they cross over and like that, and you're trying to get one thing out and it's up to the next thing. You can't find what you mix her. Now I've got crumbs in my throat from my crisps. Are you sure you brought it with you when you moved, Shad? You sure you didn't leave it behind? I can't find half the things I thought I brought. I never did find my trainers or plimsolls or whatever you call them in America. I had a lovely pair of really comfy white ones and I can't find them. I've been looking for them for 2.5 years. I don't know where I think they're going to turn up from, but I'm going to have to give up and get a new pair. But I don't walk much and I don't run, so I'm not paying hundreds of pounds for fancy dancy trainers, and yet I don't want a pair of cheap plastic things. There doesn't seem to be any middle of the road anymore in trainers. You've either got the cheapy things or the mega expensive running ones with the push and soles and everything. I don't run. I just want a pair that's comfy. There's an outlet place somewhere near here called Affinity. I must go and look in there. You definitely brought it with you, did you, Shad, when you moved? Yeah, I lost a pair of sandals that were really comfy. And my trainers that were really comfy. I think when I was sorting them out, it must have got into the wrong bag. You know, I had a bag for donations, a bag for the rubbish, and must have got in the wrong bag. Hi, Isaac. I've still got the green clock, Shad. Don't tempt me. It hasn't got a battery in it, you'd be glad to know. I could bring it out and show it to you. I've still got it. It wouldn't be ticking, but I'd still show it you. I've got a ticking clock in my bedroom. It doesn't have a very loud tick. It has to be really, really quiet for me to hear it. But my clock in the bedroom does tick. I love ticking clocks. I love the grandfather clocks, you know, the great big ones that tick and chime. And do you ever watch, is it Cinnamon Stitches? One room in her house is full of clocks and they all chime at different times. She's got like ticking clocks, cuckoo clocks, ones that go woo woo woo. I'm sure it's Cinnamon Stitches that's got that. Although I must admit I've not heard it on her videos lately, but her older videos you used to hear it all the time. Oh, oh. Shad would love those old videos, wouldn't you, Shad? With all those clocks ticking. Hi, Jackie. I'm crunching my Crispies. Nathan's on here somewhere. He's gone very quiet again as usual. But no Rick again this week. Don't know where he's gone. Oh, they make batteries for the clock, yeah. I can put a battery in it tomorrow. If you really desire it, Shad, I can make it tick for you for next week. Hi, Lizzie. I used to have a clock on here that ticked, Lizzie, and Shad hated it. He used to say, stop it ticking. And I'm just saying, I've still got the clock. It's just not got a battery in it. You mean one paparazzi was chasing you at about 10 miles an hour? What? You know what all that's about, don't you, Lizzie? I will copy my mum. I'll draw a comparison between my mum and us being chased by a paparazzi. The taxi driver said it was nothing like that at all. You don't want to know what time it is because you don't really care. I only care when I've got appointments, yeah. Well, he can want, can't he? I'd like free everything, but I don't get it, do I? I thought it was very apt when he said, somebody had said to him, you cannot demand things. We don't have English law over here. You are not the monarchy. We are American. I thought it was a good answer to him when he demanded it back. Yeah, you aren't the king, he said. You don't make the law. I don't. I put a watch on if I'm going out somewhere, and it's important that I keep my eye to the time. But I don't wear one the majority of the time. It's only appointments when I say I'll meet people at a certain time. I have to keep an eye on the time then, because yeah, I suppose you could check your phone if you were desperately wanted to know what time it is, but my phone's usually in my bag. I'm not one of these that, constantly got it in the hand, like glued to it. My phone, I don't even know what it is at the minute. What's on the table? I only wear junk jewellery. I don't wear gold or anything. I suppose if I was still married, I would wear a wedding ring if I was still married, but of course I'm not now, so it's immaterial, isn't it? I mean, some women carry on wearing a wedding ring, but I have a phone because we don't have a landline. And I do have to phone people up, from time to time. Oh, I love my junk jewellery. I've got drawerfuls of junk jewellery. None of it's any worth any money. Have you seen the price of those necklaces by Tatty Divine? Whoever Tatty Divine is. Honestly, about £300. I'm like, I'm sorry, Tatty, but I'm not paying £300 to wear a banana around my neck. I don't think, she's not, it's not as if it's got any precious stones in it or gold or anything. They're just made out of like resin and stuff like that. So where do you get 300 quid from? Well, it's like, I took a little waistcoaty thing into that shop where I took the crochet into. And she was rumbling because I think I got about 30 quid on it. And she was like, oh, it's expensive, that. There was the same one on Etsy, £168. Huh. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, really? £168. And she thinks my 30 quid is too dear. Well, the daft thing is, Isaac, she's selling them. Yeah. This woman on Etsy is selling them. When you go into sales, she's selling them. Perhaps it's more of a snob value, Oh, I paid £168 for this top. Don't you think it's lovely? I'm reading a book at the moment. I started reading it about Vivienne Westwood. And like she was saying, when she did the fashion catwalks like in Paris and that, she never made any money at it. It was only afterwards when it dwindled down to the high street. And I'm thinking, and she said it's well known that the Paris, fashion shows don't actually make money. There's very, very few women who can afford to buy things like off the catwalk. And I'm like, oh, what's the point of all that then? What's the point? I used to look in the window of a shop she had in Manchester, Vivienne Westwood. I could never afford to go in there. I used to look in the window. Apparently they don't design them on the catwalk to be actually kind of worn like that. They know they're going to get watered down before they hit the high street. There's very, very few women in this world who can afford them, except, people who want to borrow them for premieres and stuff like that. I mean, some of them, you look at them, you think, are they serious at what? They design them and think, we're going to take the P with this one, you know what I mean? Some of the fashions they create for guys are worse than the women. Her husband did a lot of designing as well, didn't he, Vivienne Westwood's husband? He's actually about 25, 30 years younger than her. But he did a lot of the designing. These walnut whips are like rocks. No, I've never actually owned a design or anything original of anything, really. I've had the knockoff lookalikes, but I've never actually owned anything designer in my life. Unless I made it, of course. And of course, I'm a designer. Well, these kids coming up in the crocheting community, they all call themselves crocheting designers. And I'm like, I'm not that big-headed. I don't see myself as that. I see myself as an adapter, whatever, but I would never call myself a designer. And yet these young kids that are rehashing old things and saying, I've designed this. You haven't designed it at all, my darling. Granny made something like that years ago. Yeah, I've had crochet patterns that are allegedly designed by Mary Quant and allegedly designed by whoever. But what they really mean is somebody's done them in the style of. It wouldn't have been Mary Quant who designed a crochet pattern and sure she never crocheted in her life, but it really not annoys me. It slightly miffs me that these like 20-year-old wannabe crocheters who've got these massive, massive followings. They can't crochet for toffee. They're just about past the beginner stage. And they're like, I've designed this. And I'm like, there's like 75 videos on YouTube exactly the same as what you have designed. But is that me just being bitter? Maybe. I'm getting old and cranky like Maxine. Shad wants to count his pennies very slowly at the cashier's till. I want to be a grumpy old woman. I'm halfway there. Well, more than halfway, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want to be a really grouchy old lady. Really grumpy. A bit like Victor Meldrew. If you're from the UK, you know who he is. Female version of Victor Meldrew. No sweet old lady for me. It's good to have a good moan, it is. Good to have a good whinge, isn't it? Yeah. Where would we be without a really good old whinge? You have to moan about something. You can't think everything's wonderbar, can you? I mean, it doesn't help. It doesn't do any good if you have a good whinge, but it does marginally make you feel better at the time. Or you can quiet for being a sweet old lady. Yeah, I get grouchy, when you know that these like electric companies are making billions and yet we're all struggling to keep warm. That it's the injustices that make me rile, that make me angry. That life isn't. I know life's never going to be equal, is it? Life. There's always going to be the haves and the have-nots, but it's just the gap's getting wider, isn't it, between the haves and the have-nots? Well, the trouble is, it's the haves who are making the decisions regarding the money of the have-nots. Yeah, they have no idea. They're living in their ivory towers, aren't they, with the great big massive wages. They don't care about how much the food's gone up, yeah? Yeah, it's not one country, is it, Lizzie? It's everywhere. Somebody is making so many billions of pounds, and the rest of us are all scrabbling. And it isn't fair. Life is unfair. And it's getting more unfair. Instead of getting better, like there's supposed to be something, what is it, welfare state and this, and we'll look after all our old people and we'll do this, that, and the other. And we're going back to the dark ages, where if you were a pensioner and you didn't have any family, it was like hard lines, yeah? Yeah, I had a water meter put in for that reason when I lived on my own, because my water bill was absolutely chronic, and I'm thinking, it's only me. Not running the tap all day long, am I? Not having a million showers a day. So I had a water meter put in. I mean, it doesn't work if you've got a family or if you're watering garden and stuff like that. But if you're living on your own, a water meter does work. Eh. I mean, I never used to wash up except like once a day. I didn't have a dishwasher out like that. So that used to help saving the water. I'm not heating up water. I'm warming water for about 3 things to wash 3, or a plate and 2 cups. No way. I'll wait until I've got a bowl full. And that's for, dishwashers there. What's wrong with 2 hands and a bowl of hot water? Nothing at all. My mother would have laughed herself silly if he'd have said, do you want a dishwasher? She'd say, I've got one. It's called your dad. I've never had one. There was one in this house when we moved in. And when we redid the kitchen, we took it out. It just guzzle up water. You have to buy special detergent stuff to go in them that costs a bomb. Nothing wrong with a bottle of washing up liquid. Hot water in a bowl. I can understand hotels and cafeterias and places like that having them. Or even people who've got a massive family. I don't understand why people who live alone have one. Because from what I can gather, they don't get the pans very clean. You have to pre-wash things, and I'm thinking, what's the point? While you're pre-washing it, you might as well wash it. Pre-rinse and all that crap. You went to your man cave to get... Have you got a man cave? You've got a bigger house than I thought you got, Shad. Or are you out and about? Are you in your tent? We're still waiting for photographs of your new abode. We're making Chris very jealous because he's got his eyes on one. Having a tiny house one day. Although I don't think Chris could do a loft bed. I couldn't do a loft bed. Have to be all on one level. I could live in a tiny house. I just couldn't keep my wool in a tiny house and my crafts. I'd have to have 2 tiny houses. One to live in and one to keep all my crafting stuff. You know, these people who live out on the open road in a car. No. Mind you've got more facilities in the US than we do. You know, we don't have places, overnight camping places, like you can camp in Walmart and places that have showers and stuff. Not like that over here. You'd have to go onto a proper campsite. I couldn't do it. I didn't have a toilet. I couldn't abide. I had to go up the road every time I wanted to wee. No. I could not live in my car. I mean, I slept in a car when you've been going on holiday somewhere and you have to stop for a sleep halfway there. I've done that, but I've not camped in a car. We broke down once and we all had to sleep in the car overnight. Luckily, we had duvets because we were going camping. Otherwise, we would have been freezing. I don't have a bathtub because there wasn't one in the house when we moved in, and I'm not putting one in. I've got a shower though, obviously. Can't do without. I would like a bathtub, but one that I could get into. If ever I get money, I'm toying with the idea of one of those walk-in baths with a shower over the top. If ever I get any money, which is never going to happen, but you know. Yeah, I couldn't get out of the bath. That's why I had to take it out. I couldn't climb in and out, and then one time I slipped. Garage, car repair, garden tools, and a bath. Oh, you've got them all, have you? Mm. It tickles me with those walk-in ones, though. Do you sort of have to run the water until it's the right temperature before you actually step into it? You know, because you couldn't, could you? You don't just get in it and then our water runs cold for a little while before it goes hot. So I wouldn't want to sit in the bath and then the water be, you know, not temperature controlled, if you know what I mean. I'm shivering for some reason or other. I don't know why I'm so cold. The minute the sun goes down, you know, I'm shocking. I keep thinking I'm going to make one this shape. It's so useful. It's not like a poncho. It's like a ruana, do they call it? It's got a back piece and then it's got 2 front pieces. It's a lot of crocheting, isn't it, when you can buy one? Oh, yeah, I could never live in a place without plumbing, yeah. I've made one for my sister-in-law. But it's so much, I mean, the back's like twice that width. That's too much for me. Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. You don't think about those things, do you? I mean, sitting in it to empty, it's not too bad. It's like getting it to the right temperature to fill up while you're sitting in it. If it was too cold when it set off, I'd be like, oh. Or what if it was too hot when he said, oh. It's all right saying it's temperature control, but I mean, you'd have to have warm water. Ours is like warm water on demand, if you know, so it takes it a while before it comes through warm. Hey. You got some to make a shawl. Woo. I'm selling a lot of my stuff. I've decided I've got too much wool. I sit there and look at it and think, God, Janet, you're 77. You're never going to knit all this or crochet all this before you die. Get rid of some of it. An outdoor shower for summer. I hope you don't strip off. You don't want the neighbours talking. You'd have to have a shower in your skimpies, wouldn't you? Oh, fishing man. Do you knit or crochet, fishing man? Or are you just a fishing man? We've got two fisher people, I should say. Yeah, we have a lot of outdoor showers, yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I've got a top on my scooter now, so I don't mind if it rains anymore. Funnily enough, it hasn't rained as much since I got my scooter with the top on. Before, I used to get wet nearly every other day. But I still like it because I don't get the wind in my face, you know, the wind and the sand and everything blowing in my face because I've got the canopies at the top and it goes straight down over the front, yeah. It's rainy there, is it? Yeah. I'm cold. I don't know why I'm so cold. It's supposed to be 15 degrees it's supposed to be, but it isn't in this house, I tell you. This is the coldest room in the whole house. If I go in another room, if I go in my bedroom now, it'd be warm. But in here, it's cold. Never gets any sun. The sun never shines in this house, in this room. Never, ever. So that's why it's always cold. It needs a bit of sun on its bones. That's what it needs. Ugh. It was raining up in Scotland. Sue said it was raining. Well, it was dull and rainy. No, I'm going to cover up. I'm really cold. I don't know why. I'm an old biddy. I'm freezing. Oh, oh. Because I'm wearing a blanket, aren't I? If anybody comes on now, they'll say, what the heck she got on today? Oh, dearie me. You have to make him brown. Our two dogs went for a walk. Little one, the Frenchie, she fell in. And she was in mud up to her chin because she's not that big. So they had to hose her down before they could bring her in. And she kept kind of come and sit on my knee, and I'm like, no, you're wet through, go away. Grandma does not love you when you are wet through. Yeah, she wasn't impressed. She had to be washed with the hose pipe. She loves mud. I don't know why. Why do dogs love mud? Wanted cuddles, she can go and cuddle off. I'm not cuddling when she's wringing wet through. Ooh. I mean, they tried her with a bit of a towel and that, but she's still wringing wet through. No, I don't love wet dogs. My Buster would let me dry him with the hairdryer when we've been out and he used to get caught in the rain. You sit with a dryer, dry him off. She's too solid. She's a French bulldog. She's only little, but she's solid. So she can't really shake. Rosie can shake. But the French bulldog can't shake. She's too fat. She's not fat. It's like solid. They're like solid, big, heavy bodies with little legs, French bulldogs. But she doesn't like the hairdryer. Now my Buster, if I was drying my own hair, I used to pretend to dry him as well, even if he wasn't wet. He loved that hairdryer. And he loved the hoover. I could hoover him. He was a very placid dog. People used to say, "You hoover the dog?" I'm like, "Yeah, he loves it." You know, the attachment. Not the big hoover. It was the attachment that you put on, like the snaky bit, you know, with a little thing on the top. He loved it. The French bulldog fights the brush. No, my dog didn't hate the hoover. Trixie hates yard brushes or even little hand brushes. She chases them and bites them and fights them. No, my late dog was a placid little soul. Not much phased did Buster. He used to take everything in his stride, you know, nothing worried him. Now these two go and hide if they see the lawnmower. They run and hide in the house. They don't like they don't like the hoover and they don't like the lawnmower. No, Rosie ignores the brush. But Trixie, you know, she's trying to eat it and bite it. Oh, you could lift Buster's paw up and hoover underneath it and put it back down, he wouldn't bother. He was a very placid dog. I can't remember if Gigi liked the hoover or not. I think he used to just sit on the chair and look at me in disdain when I used to hoover. Yeah, I mean, yeah, mine never bothered if I hoovered him. Because he had that loose, spiky kind of loose hair. He was a cross between a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and a boxer. And he had like wire. The French Bulldog's the same, got this wiry hair that almost like needles when it sheds. Our Rosie doesn't shed. What am I eating? A toffee. Sweetie. It's a caramel. A caramel. That's what I'm eating. I shouldn't be eating. But it's Saturday night, isn't it? Saturday night is my cheat night, where I eat sweeties and I eat chores. Yeah. I try not to eat them during the rest of the week. Try. My diabetes nurse would have a fit if she could see me chewing the sweetie. But I cannot live my life without sweeties. I can do a couple of days. I do tell you to get snacks and a drink, don't I? I say, get your crafts, get your snacks, get your drink. Hey, I wonder what time our company's coming tomorrow. Hope it's not too soon because I like a lie-in on a Sunday. I don't like to come out much before 10 on a Sunday. It's kind of like a ritual, isn't it? You always did it when you were a teenager, didn't you? Sundays were lying, except with my mother. She wouldn't let me lie in. She'd want the sheets to wash them and stuff like that. Get up, get up, get up. I need you washing. Sort your washing out. I need you washing. She'd have the radio on dead loud. Never got a chance to have a lie in. Well, my bedroom was right over the kitchen. Yeah, and we used to have papers delivered when I was married. But, you know, cutbacks in spending. Some of the things I used to do when I was married when there was 2 wages coming in. When you go down to one smaller wage, some things you have to stop. So the papers was one of them. Yeah, we used to have 2 newspapers on a Sunday. He would read one over breakfast and I would read the other. He didn't like my paper and I didn't like his because he only wanted it for the sport. He was football mad. Whereas I wanted the news and the gossip, so I had a different paper altogether than he did. And my son used to read the comic bits that came in the middle. There used to be a pull-out bit in the middle. There was quizzes and comics and stuff. My son used to read the comics and then he'd go out and play on his bike. What did you cook for your dinner, Chris? Tantalise us all. Oh, my husband was, he was, didn't matter who it was, football, whoever was playing, could be a foreign team, he could be speaking in foreign and he didn't understand it and he still watched the blooming thing. I hate football. He put me right off it. My God. They're tramping about upstairs again with hobnail boots on. I swear to God they wear hobnail boots, I do. Surely he wears his Crocs while he's upstairs. It's like clump, 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 clump. I don't see the interest in football now. You're like you can hear them trampling about, yeah. Sure they got the boots on. Can you hear it creaking? It's like they're nearly coming through the floor. They've got carpet up there as well. So they can hear you in America, when you're walking up and down on them floor. Their bed's like directly above. Here, that's their bed. The bathroom's there. So when they come in to go to bed, I mean, they're not gone to bed, they'll be watching the telly in bed. When they come to go to bed, it's really noisy, trumping about. Putting stuff in the bin. Rosie empties the bin. Come in here and there's like tissues all over the floor and everything over. She just empties the bin. And she had a piece of wood. She said, go to knit. Yeah, I've been to knit clubs. I went to three this week, Monday and 2 on Wednesday. I haven't been to that shop though yet. They were shut when I went. I called on my way back from knit club and they were shut. You've had taquitos, huge, jalapenos, no, and hot sauce, no. Sour cream, freshly made guacamole. Same as yesterday. I don't like avocados. I do not like avocados. They taste slimy to me. Yeah. I'm a very plain Jane when it comes to food. I don't like peppers and hot sauces and stuff like that. Nope. I think it all comes to do with your upbringing if you're not eating it as a child. Yeah. You know, if you're brought up with plain cooking, you know, just salt and pepper cooking, it sets you for life, really, you know. I will eat Chinese cooking. And I don't mind a pizza if it's from an Italian restaurant. I don't like pizzas from these, like, fast food pizza places. I don't like the taste of them. But if you go to a restaurant, a proper Italian restaurant, they're nice from there. I like calzone, I have those. But I do not like spaghetti, pasta, or anything. I will eat it if I have to, but I don't like it, yeah. Oh, yeah. A barbecue chicken. Yeah, if I win the lottery, I'm still hoping. Keep winning lucky dips, but my lucky dips never win anything. But I'm very lucky with my lucky dips. You have won a lucky dip for next week. Yay! What does my lucky dip do? Nothing. Yeah, I love things like barbecue chicken, plain. Like today we had meat and potato pie. It had vegetables in it as well, but it was like in pastry, you know, and a pie. My kind of cooking. The other day we had corned beef hash, my kind of cooking. I don't like spaghetti bolognese and stuff like that. Chili con carne, I can eat at a pinch, but not really. But I do not want pasta, and I don't want spaghetti. Whoa. And as for mac and cheese, I would chuck it back at you if you give me that. Somebody gave me mac and cheese, I'd just throw up, I think. As soon as it comes towards me, ugh, no. Oh dear. But you see, when I was brought up, there was no spaghetti. Rice was in a pudding, yeah? Nothing like that. So I wasn't brought up with it. We never had rice as a main meal. You have adventurous taste buds. No, I don't know. I'll eat Chinese, but no, don't. Indian curry, nope. Hate it. Absolutely loathe the taste of curry. As soon as I taste it, nope. It's one of the spices in the curry that I do not like. I will eat a Thai green curry, but I won't eat an ordinary curry. Oh no, I don't like Indian food at all. I don't like the spices they use. I don't like. It's not the heat. It's just the spices I don't like. I'll eat West Indian food, but I won't eat Indian. West Indian is completely different. Same with Thai cooking. Thai cooking is completely different. But I don't like them, the multitude of spices they put in the Indian food. Oh, lamb vindaloo. Oh, no. No. Don't mess with my lamb. Don't stick it in a curry. No. But it's funny, I've eaten goat curry, which is like when it's West Indian. And it's different because they don't put this one spice in that they put in the Indians. West Indian curry is nothing like an Indian curry. Yes, there's one spice I do not like in Indian cooking. And I knew what it was. But they don't leave it out because they put it in everything. And that garam masala, they stick in everything. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, West Indian curry is completely different. It's the same with Thai curry. Thai curry is completely different, yeah. Yeah. That's weird how it's just like, I mean, my mum would have never, ever even tasted West Indian food. Because I like West Indian, like samosas, but I don't like the Indian samosas. Again, it's that one spice that they put in. That one that stinks, yeah. The one that stinks the house out, stinks everybody, everybody's breath out, and everybody's body stinks of this one particular spice. Ugh. When I lived in Mountside, one set of neighbours I had at the time, they weren't Indian or anything like that, but they used to cook a lot of curry. Oh, they used to come through the wall. Oh, maybe it is cumin, maybe it's something I don't like, but there's one spice that they put in Indian food that I do not like. When you do like Jamaican cooking, they call it allspice. They make their own, they put all these different things in it, rub it all in, like to do the jerk chicken and that. You can make your own jerk, but they don't use like the same spices that the Indians use. Yeah, maybe it is cumin that I don't like. Maybe I haven't analysed which spice it is I don't like because it usually comes as a mixed lump, doesn't it? Like curry, whatever you buy, it's in a curry powder already mixed up and stuff. No, don't like it. Hi, Ethan. Now I like more. Well, as long as I like plain cooking. 'Cause I used to cook a lot of different things. But I'm just not a lover of herbs. Loads and loads of herbs like cumin and coriander and stuff like that. Ugh. Yeah. Basil and stuff. Ugh. Don't like it. Oh. Ugh. No, thank you. I like mint. You can't put mint on mint's only good with lamb. That's one spice I do like is mint. But it's a herb in it, not a spice. I don't mind growing them. I used to have them in the garden at home when I was living in. I like the smell of them and everything like that, yeah. Yeah, we have mixed spices. It's like cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff like that. We have loads. Well, in Manchester, we had very diverse population in Manchester. So you could go to just down the road and you got all the West Indian shops, or you got all the Indian or Pakistani shops that used to sell the spices in big bags and stuff. Much, much cheaper than supermarkets. And, they used to do all kinds of things there. But I mean, these little jars that you buy in the supermarket, they cost an absolute fortune, them little Schwartz jars. But if you go into a proper, West Indian or an Indian supermarket, you get a bag like that, the same price as a little tub. I used to make a curry, but only for my ex-husband. I never ate it myself. I think my son used to eat my curry as well. But I wouldn't even try it. Not even a teaspoon, no. And I knew what had gone in mine because I used to make it myself, but nope. I don't like the way it permeates through your pores after you've eaten it. You smell it on your body, don't you, for about 2 or 3 days afterwards. Oh, good night, Isaac. Uh, oh, dear. I'll be needing my bed soon. I've only been on 2 hours. I'm getting worse, aren't I? I'm going less and less each week because I'm like, oh, I'm nodding now. Going to bed now. Going to sleep now. I'm getting old. Old and doddery and sleepy. Mind you, last Saturday, I was really, really tired and I said, I'm going off here now, I'm going to bed. Could I get to sleep? Could not get to sleep. I was listening to music. I had a real boy band. I had Boys to Men. I had Boyzone. I had Westlife on. And I couldn't get to sleep. And they didn't have them on loud or anything. They just had them low. I thought, right, the music will just make me nod off. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I fell asleep about 5 o'clock, I think. And I was awake at 7 o'clock then. Why is it when you lie awake, you keep having to go to the bathroom? If you fall asleep, you may get up once in the night for the bathroom. But if you're lying in bed and you're lying awake, you're up, down, up, down, up, down, like a bloody yo-yo. And you're thinking, well, why am I, where's it all coming from? Why does it not usually happen when I'm sleeping, That's a good job in it, really. If it did when you're sleeping, you'd be, yes, in a bit of trouble when you woke up, yeah. That's, yeah, what time is? It's only 11:15 and already I'm like, oh. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I actually got my other camera out and charged it up, the one that I had at Christmas and not used. I don't understand it. I opened it up and I thought, what the heck's that? It says, welcome. Oh, you see now it's not doing it now. Before it had a million things. Now where does it tell me power? Oh. Oh, it says T and W. It looks like it's empty, even though it's been on charge. Or is it full? I'll have to read my manual, won't I? I don't know what T and W means. Whether T means it's charged up, W means it's empty. Why can't you say empty and full? Then you'd know where you're up to, wouldn't you? But T at one side and W at the other for the battery. I don't even know what that means. I shall have to look at my manual. So I'm frightened of making a video with it and then not being able to put it into the, YouTube, because I don't know whether it's set up for that. That's why I keep using my old one. Ooh. But as I say, my old one hadn't charged up. I went to make a video to show you the flowers I got in the garden, and it just kept cutting out. And I swear I charged it up. I swear it was on charge. Eee, I'm still cold. I have no idea why I'm so cold. I've got shivers going up and down my arms. When I feel my arm, it feels cold. And I've got a blouse on. I'm sure you don't want to see everything, but I've got a tank top underneath, like a camisole. Got this, I know it's only chiffon. I've got a chiffon top on. I've got a cardigan. I've got this on. And I've got goose pimples up my arms. How weird is that? I'm just not right, am I? When I get in bed tonight, I'll have to have my heated bean bag. Or I won't be able to sleep. Yeah. I should do some washing tomorrow if it's nice, but I've not put my washing on the line. I've got company coming. Don't want them all seeing me smalls, do I? Or my larges in my case. Stop kidding yourself, Janet. When have you ever worn smalls? Maybe when I was a kiddie, but then no. My mother was never a smalls type of person. She was always the bigger the knicker, the better, you know. You remember them, don't you, girls? The ones that used to have elastic down to your knees when you were a kid. You know, you could pull them up to your chest and put your arms in them. Big navy blue things. You never had frilly white knickers or out like that. Bloomers, yeah, that was the word. School knickers, they used to call them. And they only came in one size, I think, large, didn't they? And I was only a tiny little thing when I first started at school, at senior school, with these navy blue bloomers on it. You could pull them down to your knees, and they still would be at your waist. Or you could pull them up over your bust if you were cold. Pull them right up like it's like a camisole, didn't it? God, they were like D'Artagnan bloomers, weren't they? You could have put a pillar in each side of them. I remember persuading my mum eventually to buy me these more slimline ones in navy blue, but I think I was a teenager before she bought me them. But before that, I used to get these awful, great, big, whopping bloomers. I swear to God, they would have fitted me if they were still in without a hole. If they were still in existence, they would have fitted me right up to leaving school. The ones she bought me when I was 11 when I started, yeah. They always bought you things to grow into, didn't they? Never bought you anything the right size. If you tried a dress on her, you know, like or something, when it was Whitsuntide, tried a dress on and it was lovely and just right, my mother would say, yeah, we'll have it in a bigger size. She needs room to grow. So you'd be wandering around Whitsuntide with this dress on that was about 2 sizes too big for you because you had to have room to grow. It was wore out before you grew into it. I don't know what the big palaver was about room to grow into it. It's like that with shoes. You used to have your feet measured for shoes, and then my mother would ask for half a size bigger. So you were flapping about like clown shoes. Oh, how do we exist? Of course, it was all down to money. Our parents didn't have any money, so you had to have things to last you. Yeah, I think I had the same school blazer until I left. That's the same blazer from 11 up to 17, I think. No, I think I did have a new one in the last year. Because my mother was so upset when I wouldn't wear it to go to work. She kept saying, it's a nice jacket when I started working at the bank. It's a nice jacket, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, you had to change out your school uniform. You couldn't get them dirty, could you? Woe betide if you got your skirt dirty. Everything was dry clean though back in the day. Obviously your shirts weren't, your cardigan wasn't, but your skirt or it used to be a gym slip in my day. Your gym slip used to be dry clean. You had to wait for a school holiday to take it to the dry cleaners. In between, it used to get sponged. If you got a stain on it, you used to get it sponged. Yeah, because you couldn't wash them because they were like pleated. Well, ours were anyway, pleated. They had a yoke at the top, and then there were pleats going down, and then you had a belt going round them. God, they were ugly things. I think they changed a bit. They've got a bit more modern now, but oh God, ours were terrible. You're a real centenarian, yeah. Oh yeah, you could never. Well, you wouldn't want to wear your school uniform when you got home, would you? I mean, I was a grammar school girl, so you used to get tormented, from the secondary modern kids. You'd be walking home on your own, and you see about 4 or 5 of these secondary modern kids coming towards you, and you think, "Oh no, grammar school twits," and all that jazz. I mean, they didn't hit you or anything. There just used to be verbal abuse as you went past. So I used to hate wearing my grammar school uniform. That was off as soon as I got home. Yeah. It wasn't seen as a badge of honour where I lived. 90% of the kids went to the secondary modern. So you were like a SWAT or a twit or whatever if you went to the grammar school. So you'd always try to walk home in 2s or 3s, so you'd be like a gang walking home or try to catch a bus or something. But I never had it. Well, the buses were free actually, but you weren't supposed to get on them if you were only going a short distance, which I was. You were supposed to live, I think it was about 2 or 3 miles away from school before you could get on a bus. But the bus guards didn't really bother. They'd let you on anyway. But they weren't really strictly supposed to stop, yeah. The difference between the 2 types of schools, you had to pass an entrance exam to go to a grammar school. They don't really have them anymore now unless you go to a private one. They were state registered schools, but they had a much, much higher standard of education than the secondary modern ones did. Nowadays, it doesn't exist. It's all comprehensive now. And everybody goes to the same type of school now, unless your parents are rich and you go to a grammar school that's private and you pay fees for it. But I was fortunate enough to pass what we call the 11 plus exam, which meant I went to the grammar school. I mean, I'll never complain because I had a really good education. I wasted it, but I had a really, really good education. They used to put a higher, what can I put it? They valued the educational lessons more. They didn't let you play about. They used to give you lots and lots of homework. You were being groomed for university. And back in the day when I was growing up, university was difficult to get into. It wasn't like, everybody can go to college now, You can be as dumb as can be and get into college these days. But to get to university, you had to really hit the high spots. And that's what the grammar schools used to groom people for. They used to groom people to go into, much higher education, yeah. I mean, the people who were at my grammar school, they went on into, a lot of them went on. One went on to be the head of the police in Manchester. Another one went into Parliament. Another one was the high, whatever it was. Oh, God, not like a prime minister, but like a mayor of like London or whatever. They just went on to do a lot more. I'm not knocking a comprehensive, but to me, they just didn't have the same standards. They just didn't. Like we learnt Latin and we learnt all things like that, which they didn't even do languages at the comprehensive school at all. We learned they could learn Italian, French, German and Latin. But they didn't even do any languages at the comprehensive at the time. They used to do things like woodworking and stuff like that, which we didn't do, yeah. Now you can still go to a grammar school, but you would either have to win a scholarship or your parents would have to be rich enough to pay the fees, which are expensive. But these were state, I mean, they've abolished them. I don't know who abolished them. Probably the Labour. Probably abolished them, yeah. So I don't know. It was kind of like they had this attitude, the people who were in government at the time, you know, we will not segregate children. We will not give some children a better education and others not. We'll stick them all in the same melting pot and then they'll all come out equal, but they don't. They don't. Did they learn a second language? Yes, I learned French and Latin, but I've forgotten the Latin. Amoa masamat, amami samantisam. What does it amount? Yeah. I used to know the Lord's Prayer as well. Pater Noster qui es in caelis sanctificatum novum tuum. The Lord's Prayer in Latin part of it, yeah. Yeah, I think what it was there was discipline, Chris. You did not dare mess about, answer back. You know, you watch kids in school and you think, they're so rude. You know, we wouldn't have dared to answer back to the teachers, you know. We just wouldn't, you know. You just did as you were told, you know. It might be a bit Dickensian, but, you know, you just didn't question. You just did it. You know, there was no answering back. You know, it's you went there to learn and you knew you were there to learn and that's what you did. And if you didn't, your parents would step in and say, you are wasting your education, get your head stuck in that book, get on with it and stuff. Whereas today's parents just don't seem to care anymore. I mean, our parents were always very much involved in our education. Well, mine were particularly. You know, if you were goofing off or wandering, you know, you mean get in there, get your homework done, get your work done. And you didn't dare go home and say to your parents that one of the teachers had said so and so to you. There was none of this parents going to the school to question things. It was all, well, you must have done something to deserve it. Yeah. It's yeah, well my sister-in-law, she taught at a private school in Wimbledon in London, and they were all private. They paid for the fees to go there to this school, and they were all diplomats' children and everything. And she came up here when she married my brother, and she could not cope with the state schools. She did about one term, I think, and then she had to leave. She couldn't deal with all the answering and the cheeking and the not taking any notice of people. She'd been in a school where the kids, well, the parents would have stepped in because we are paying for your education, you will get one, yeah? You know. Oh, God, yeah, you didn't dare go home and say well, I never got caned, but, you know, you wouldn't have dared to go home and say you got caned or anything because you'd got a good hiding off your parents. But nowadays, they're at the school. Don't you tell my kid what to do. Don't you say this. And the kid's like, no, 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 no. You know, God, you'd have had that. If you'd have dared to stick your tongue out at a teacher or go, you'd have got lambasted. I mean, kids got expelled from our school. And it wasn't for like what they're doing now. It was just for being cheeky or smoking in school or something. They used to get expelled. Or if they didn't get expelled, they'd be put on, you know, like probation or something, yeah. But nowadays, the kids, they're just so rude. answering back, and you're not telling me what to do, you know, like, oh, it's good if I'm not a teacher. I'd be wiping the smile off the face with the back of my hand, yeah. Oh, they're rude today. Some of the kids, I mean, not all of them. Some of the kids are polite, but 9/10 of the kids today are rude. They're what I call, they think they're privileged. They think they can say what they like. They think they can do what they like. And they know damn well that, you know, they can report you if you said anything or did anything. You know, I'll report you. And, you know, it's going to be whatever. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I won't be here, so it won't bother me. But, you know, the way they push past you, they've got no respect. I mean, we've had trouble with them here in Fleetwood. They've been gaggling together in great big groups and causing havoc. And it's mostly vandalism, really, you know, breaking shop windows, harassing people on bikes and stuff like that, you know. They're bored, probably. They probably got nothing to do. But then again, we didn't have anything to do, but you made your own. You made your own things to do. But like the things we did now, they'd go, that's boring. If they're not attached to some like piece of electrical equipment these days, or the phone, you know, and stuff like that, they think they're hard done to. By God, we didn't even have a telephone at all until we had the shop, and even then we only had a telephone because it was the shop. You know, if they're not glued to something, somebody nearly walked into me the other day, slap bang nearly into my scooter, give me such a dirty look, and I'm thinking, well, first of all, they nearly tripped over a dog because the dog was like stretched on a lead, and they were like this on their phone like that. They nearly tripped over the dog lead and nearly went like, you know, flat bang on that. And then they carried on walking and walked into my scooter. And I'm like, stupid. But they glare at us as if we're in the wrong. You know, they glared at the woman with the dog. They glared at me. You know, like, the old fool, get out of the way. You know, it's like, what happened to respecting your elders? You know, what happened to that? And as for the language, the girls are worse than the boys. You get a gaggle of girls, like, and they're talking really loudly to each other. And every other word's a swear word. And you're like, oh, please be a ladylike. You know, ladylike. Oh, I can't understand it, why they want to talk like they're in the gutter. No, you're right, there's no respect for elders, no. The girls are disgusting the way they talk. It's really, really awful. You know, I don't know what they think, it's clever to swear and, you know, you know, I just, words fail me. I mean, the lads are bad enough, but the girls are terrible. Well, in the UK, we used to have a programme, like a school programme. I forget what it was called now. And the kids on there were really, really badly behaved and answering back and saying things to the teacher. And I blamed that was the start of all the kids. They used to be glued to it, all the kids. The kids having bad language and talking back. And yeah, it was just, oh, it just encourages them. They think that's the way they should talk. And this like gangster talk gets me down. You know, where they talk like they're rappers from somewhere or other. They think it's clever to talk like that. And I'm like, you just sound stupid. You really do sound stupid, you know. A, you're not from the country you're pretending to be. B, you're not black. I'm sorry, but you're not. And the way they talk, like American, some Americans, not all, but you know the way the gangster rappers talk in America. I'm sure it's not the way they really, really talk. It's the way they adapt it, don't they, to be like big thuggy type whatever's. And the kids are adapting it, and you're thinking you're the wrong ethnicity for a start off. Why do you think it sounds good to talk like some gangster from America? Yeah, but I mean, I don't like it when they talk to the children like that. I go down the street sometimes and these mums, well, teenage type mums, effing and jeffing at these little tots. And I'm like, oh, please don't. Please. They'll hear bad language when they get a bit older, but don't be talking to a 2-year-old like that. I nearly got thumped in one particular time because this girl was dragging a little girl along by her arm, nearly yanking its shoulder out of its socket. And she was effing and jeffing and calling this kid a little C. And I said to her, oh, I said, do you mind? I said, you're going to hurt that child's arm. And don't swear at her like that, love. And she's, what's it got to do with you? I'll smack your face in. My kid, I'll talk to it how I want. And I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord. I'm thinking, that poor child. If it grew up with 2 shoulders, it'd be a miracle because she'd be yanking it out. Yanking it by its arm, yanking. Oh, my son is asleep. I can hear him snoring. He falls asleep without his sleep apnea mask on. When he does that, he snores. You can hear him snoring down here, yeah. I used to go, and when he lived with me, I used to be going, put your mask on, put your mask on. What? Yeah. Well, when I was younger, boys used to fight, obviously they used to fight. But it was always a one-on-one fight. And all the other lads would stand round and hold their coats or whatever. It was never a gang fight. It was never like people ganging up on one child. It was always a fair fight, if you know what I mean. This couple of lads who had a grievance would slug it out. I mean, lads will always fight. They always will and they always have done. But it used to be like a fair fight, didn't it? It wasn't a let's all join in fight, yeah. I mean, I've seen many a fight when they've had a few drinks outside of dance halls and stuff. I caused a fight once because this lad had asked to walk me home. And what had happened? He'd asked to walk me home, and when we got downstairs, this other lad who thought he was going to take me home. Bear in mind, I hadn't agreed to either of them taking me home. But, and they started fighting, these two, so I just peed off and went and caught the bus and went home on my own, left them to it. Thought, you're not fighting over me, I'm going. I didn't want the winner with the black eye and a broken nose. No, I went home. Got the bus and went home. There was no way I wanted them fighting over me. I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of misunderstanding. The lad outside thought he was taking me home, and the bloke who walked me down the stairs thought he was taking me home. And to be quite honest, I didn't want either of them walking me home. But so I just ran to the bus, got on the last bus, and disappeared. I was like that when I was younger. You're not walking me home. I'm going home on my own. Very independent, I was. I was usually with my girlfriend. I don't know what happened that night, why she wasn't there. Yeah, you got your car. Me and my girlfriend used to always catch the bus home. I don't know why she wasn't there. But the kind of dance places we used to go to, you could go because you always knew there'd be a gaggle of your friends would be there when you got there, if you'd gone in on your own, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like you went in on your own and you wouldn't know anybody. Because the same people used to go every week and you got friendly with them all. So if you went in on your own, you knew there was always some girls you could sit with, you know. There was always somebody there who knew you. Um, and I don't know why my friend wasn't with me because we always got the same bus home. But this particular night, I was on my own anyway. I was with other people at the house, but when I was going home, there was only me going that way, yeah. But it was a lot safer back then. You could actually walk home on your own, which you couldn't do now. I've walked home on my own when I've missed the last bus, yeah. We used to go to the pictures, movies, whatever. Sunday nights, yeah, we would go. Me and my friend would go. Sometimes we would have a date, but it wouldn't be a boyfriend date. We would have dates. I mean, I was talking to one woman in the shop when I was probably in my 20s and 30s, you know, in the shop. And she said she was married to one of these lads who used to come out with us all. And she said, is it true what Ian's saying, that you didn't really have boyfriends and girlfriends, that you all went out together? And I went, yeah. We used to go out as a group. We didn't pair up. We didn't have each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just a big group of boys and girls, and we all used to meet up and go to the cinema. Sometimes you'd be sat next to a guy, sometimes you'd sit next to a girl, you know, but we didn't really pair up, if you're with me. And it was the same on Sunday afternoon. We would go to the park and we would all meet up, and the boys would be playing football and the girls would be all sitting on the grass talking, you know, when it was a nice sunny day. But you know, you didn't pair up. You were just a group. And, you know, it did mean that if you were on your own, you could still go to the pictures because your group would be there. But this woman was saying to me, is it true you never went out with Ian? And I went, no. I said, he was just part of the group. I never went out with him. And she goes, I don't understand that. And I went, that's just the way it was. We were just all pals together, all mates together. There was about 10 or 12 of us. Eventually, I think some of them did partner up with each other. They did get to be boyfriend and girlfriend eventually as they got a bit older. But I'm talking about when we were about 15, 16. We just didn't pair up, you know, we just didn't. Yeah, we'd mess about. Well, I say mess about, I don't mean in a sexual way. We would just play fight or chase each other around on the grass or play football or whatever. And it was all like good fun, you know, innocent. I think that was the word. You wouldn't get it these days. Wouldn't get 15 and 16-year-old girls and boys being innocent, because we were. We were innocent. Um, I mean, we knew in the back of our minds what goes on, if you know what I mean, between a man and a woman, but we just didn't go there, you know. Nowadays, it would be sort of unheard of, wouldn't it? You know, who's your boyfriend? Well, I don't really have one, you know. How did I meet my husband? At a folk music uh, place in Manchester. I used to go every week with my brother. My brother went downstairs to watch the jazz, and I went upstairs to the folk music. And this particular day, the bloke who run it used to put people into, and I was sat and there was two empty chairs next to me. And he said to these lads, like, you can go and sit there. And before he was my husband, sat next to me. So we got chatting. And then this sort of about 2, 3, 4 weeks, we just kept saying hello to each other or something. And I had a car back in the day. And one day I'd gone and I hadn't taken my brother. And He'd gone to the door when I was there and he said, "Can I walk you to the bus stop?" And I went, "No, actually," I said, "my car's just there." Oh, we've got a car. Oh. So I don't know how it happened, but I finished up taking him and 3 of his mates home, driving them all around everywhere and dropping them all off. And he said, "Can I have your number?" So I gave him my number and never thought he'd ever ring me. And he did. And that's how I started going out with him. I wish I'd never gone to that club. I wish that bloke had never sat me next to him. Otherwise, I would have never known he was there and I would have never got to know him. Because it was a big place, you know. But that's how come. I thought he was good looking at the time. That's my excuse. I was young and dumb. So that's how I met him. I'm up late. Well, it's 11:45. I usually go off in about 12 o'clock. So I usually go off. I'll probably be off in about 15 minutes. Hi, Lydia. Go and try and get some sleep. Although, like I said last Saturday, I don't know why, I just could not get to sleep. Yeah. Oh God, I thought he was good looking. I must admit, he was good looking, and I think I was just swayed. And back in the day, you never got to know them because you saw them a couple of times a week. I saw him at weekends, and I saw him one day during the week. We used to go to the cinema. But I married a stranger. I didn't know him. You didn't sleep with him. You didn't, go and live with him or anything like that. There was none of that. Even when we were engaged, yeah. Oh, good night, Susie. Good night. It wasn't like today. I mean, today they all live with each other before they get married, don't they? And stuff like that. But at least if we'd have done that, I would have known what he was like. I always say I married a stranger. I don't know who the heck I married, but it wasn't the guy I went out with. It would have been nice to know his traits, if you know what I mean, what he was actually really, really like. It would have been nice to have known that before I married him. But back in the day, you were kind of blinded by looks or whatever. I obviously had got this false idea of what he was like. And when you married him, you found out the real person underneath, and it wasn't what I thought, yeah. But by then you were married and you were stuck with it, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I actually went out with him for 2 years, but I didn't know him. It wasn't like we lived near each other. We lived a good car ride away from each other. We lived in different places, about 5, 6 miles apart. He didn't drive. I did. I had a car. So it wasn't like he could hop on a bus and come and see me or anything like that. We just didn't. Oh, there's my tissue. We just didn't. Yeah. Did my parents like him? They weren't that struck. No, no. No, he definitely was on his best behaviour when I was going out with him, yeah, definitely. I didn't see any of the bad bits when I was going out with him, yeah. My parents weren't that struck, I don't think, no. And my brother didn't like him at all. What the heck are you marrying him for, he said. What are you marrying him for? You're marrying beneath yourself. My brother was a bit of a snob. What are you going to talk to him about? He said, since you met him, you've dumbed down. He got really angry with me, brother. You're wasting your education on him. You'll never make anything of yourself if you marry him. Should have listened to my brother. He was right. Oh yeah, he was living with his parents. Yeah, yeah. I should have known. When I looked at his parents, I should have known. Oh, my brother knew. Yeah, my brother knew. My brother was right all along. What are you going to talk to him about? He said when love flies out the window. He said he's got no conversation at all. Which I mean, my brother and I used to have long discussions about all sorts of things, which all stopped when I got married because, it's like talking to myself. And no, they didn't want him to marry me at all. They liked his ex-fiancée. So I was on a loser for a start off, weren't I? Yeah. But no, my brother did try to talk me out of it. But it seemed like a good idea at the time, and all my friends were getting married, and I was like the odd one out who didn't get married, and there was a lot more pressure. My age group, there was a lot more pressure. When you were 22, when you were on the shelf, you know what I mean, if you weren't married. I mean, nowadays you can get married whenever you feel like it now. Nobody puts any pressure on you. But like when you got to about 20, oh, you're not engaged. Oh, you're not that, oh. You were meant to feel like you were weird because you weren't married or something. Oh, no, they didn't want to get rid of him. No, they wanted his wage. Don't be daft, Nathan. They wanted his keep money, his wage coming in. They didn't like it when he left, yeah. Yeah. He had to give him so much keep out of his wage. Of course, that all stopped when he got married and they didn't like that. You know. Hmm. Yeah, I was never very welcome there. My mother-in-law was anti-Catholic. Now, I wasn't a Catholic, but my father was brought up a Catholic. And she would keep saying I was Catholic. I said, no, I've been Christian Church of England. I'm not a Catholic. And she just wouldn't have it. You're from a Catholic family, you know. Oh, like, yeah. I mean, it was still a little bit like that. Not so much my generation, but my parents' generation. You couldn't get married out of your faith. It was like, no. The Catholics were there, Protestants were there, and never the twain shall meet. Oh, it was awful. It was like that, yeah. It really was. But I wasn't even brought up Catholic. I don't know what she was going on about. But because my aunties and my dad had been a Catholic, she had it in her head. But I never went to a Catholic school. I went to a Church of England school. I was Christian Church of England. I did go to a Catholic church with my aunties. I'd go with her when she used to do, to clean the church and she used to put flowers. I used to go with her, play about, dust and do the little prayer mat things, put them all straight, put the Bible straight and stuff like that. And the prayer books, put them all straight. And she'd be doing the flowers and dusting the altar and stuff. But I never actually went, really. I did go a couple of times to the services because my auntie was determined she was going to make a good Catholic girl out of me. But my dad didn't want me to go. But my auntie kept dragging me along, yeah. Yeah, my mother-in-law, God, yeah. I used to go and clean her house from top to bottom because she was a filthy. She never did any housework and it was disgusting, her house. So I used to go and clean it, scrub it. Remember, I had a baby, worked full time and I had a baby. I used to go and scrub her house from top to bloody bottom and do all her washing. And she still didn't like me. I tell you. Yeah. She was the one who walked past me. I'd had a terrible birth with my son. I really was ill. She was the one who walked right past me, never even asked if I was all right, picked up my baby with snow all over her coat, turned round to me and said, "Never mind, you'll have a girl next time." Anyway, the nurse come flying up and took the baby off her and said, "We don't pick up babies with snow on our coats, you know, and we don't pick up sleeping babies without asking the mothers first." So she told her off, the nurse. And I'm muttering under my breath to my husband saying, "Take her home or I'm going to get out of this bed and kill her." You know, when you just, oh, you don't know what day it is when you just had a baby and you're just feeling really awful. And she come in. Oh, my baby had it right way. He used to scream blue murder if she went anywhere near him. Every time she went to pick him up, he would stiffen and he would scream. And she said, "I'd poisoned him again." I mean, we're talking about a 6, 8 week old baby. "I'd poisoned him against her," she said. I thought, no, baby don't like you, end of story. He used to stiffen and push her away when he got old enough. Wouldn't sit on her knee or nothing, wouldn't let her go near him. If she managed to get hold of me, he used to riddle off and run away and come and sit on my knee. And he used to say, when he got old enough to talk, "We're not going to Grandma's, are we? We're not going there. Don't want to, not going." Oh dear. So it weren't just me that didn't like her, the son didn't like her either. Yeah, I used to clean her house top to bottom, do all her washing, take it home. Get my husband to take it. He never come and cleaned. He never did nothing. It was his damn mother, and he never did a hand's turn. It was me who felt awful because she was living that. Her husband never did anything. He was a lazy so-and-so, my father-in-law. He never did hand's turn. He used to sit there like that with his cigarette, and the house would be like about an inch deep in bloody ash. My mum saw her at the wedding and she saw her at the christening, and I don't think she saw her at all after that. But my mother had no time for her, no. My mum was a very, very busy bee woman who was on the go all day long, running the shop, running the home. She wore herself out, my mother. She'd no time and patience for anybody who was lazy. She'd no time for it, my mum. She had a very high work ethic, my mum. Very, you get on with life, you get on with it, you do. And my mother was in tremendous pain. She was worse than me with her back. She had spondylitis, she had arthritis, she was riddled with the damn thing. And yet she would, but my mother-in-law, "No, very well. Oh, I've had a funny day today. I've not been it." She used to play on it, the time I'm talking about it. "Oh, I went all dizzy. I had to sit in my chair. Couldn't do anything all day." Lazy devil. I don't know what she did all day. She sat on her backside in the middle of the filth. Ugh. I used to be embarrassed when I used to go round to the house. I used to get scrubbing and cleaning because I couldn't stand it. But I used to say to Alan, "Will you get the Hoover out? Will you do something? Make her do something. Tell her." Well, I'm not telling my mother anything. No, my mum never saw her. My mum saw her about twice, I think. I'm cracking up over the voice. Yeah, she was pathetic. She was one of them old ladies before her time. I think she died when she was less than me when she died. She was about 70, I think, when she died. But She was, oh, what a day I've had. Oh, it's been an awful day. I've had a headache all day. I've not been able to do anything. I had to go and lie down. I didn't feel well at all. And, oh, God, lazy ass. Florrie. Florence. Flo. And his dad was as bad. He was like a flipping handicap. He used to play snooker, and he was in the. He left her. I mean, it's no wonder she went strange. He used to come in from work and then go straight out again. He'd have a bit of tea and then off he'd go. Come back in rolling drunk later on at night. Been playing snooker all night. I'm on my own. I'm lonely. Nobody talks to me. I thought, oh dear God. You don't know what it's like. Oh dear, what wonderful in-laws I had. And my mum used to say, well, don't go and do it. Don't go. Yeah, he did stay out of the way. He wasn't daft. He stayed out of the way. Anglesey, you're coming on just as I am going. You've got a knack of this, haven't you? You come on and say hello when I'm just going to say I'm going now. Oh dear. We'll say hello to you, then I'll say goodbye to you. Sorry about this, but yeah, it's past midnight here and I'm tired. And I'm going to go to bed, balls. Yeah. So once again, thank you everybody for your company. But look at the eyes. The eyes are going sort of, you can always tell I'm tired by the eyes. They go baggier than usual. Look at that. Ooh, even I can see that. A Patreon. Oh. She wanted to pin up her backside, my mother-in-law. I used to want to kill her, choke her. Righty-ho. Yeah, thank you everybody for putting up with me, as usual. And I'm going to go to bed now if I can get some sleep. Look at the eyes. And yet, if I'm wide awake, I'm going to go mad. Bye-bye, everybody, and I'll see you all very soon. And I'll try and make that video of the garden if I can, with my blooming cameras charged up. Good night and bye.